Today is April 18th, 2022. My name is Cassandra Gallegos. I'm interviewing Jose Benitez for the University Library Special Collections and Archives at the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, here after abbreviated as UTRGV. This project is in partnership with the Voces Oral History Center at the University of Texas at Austin. Please know, Mr. Benitez, that this interview will be placed in the University Library Special Collections and Archives at UTRGV and shared with the Voces Oral History Center at the University of Texas at Austin. If there's anything you do not wish to answer or talk about, I will honor your wishes. I apologize. Also, if there is something you want to talk about, please bring it up and we'll talk about it. The University Library Special Collections and Archives will archive your interview along with any other photographs and other documentation you're willing to share. UTRGV University Library will retain copyright or non-exclusive right to the interview and any other materials you donate to Special Collections and Archives at UTRGV. Because we are not conducting this interview in person, I need to record you consenting to make sure you agree with our interview procedures before we continue. So I'll ask you a series of 6 questions. Please say, yes, I agree, or no, I do not agree after each question. Okay? Okay, here's the first question. Do you give University Library Special Collections and Archives at UTRGV consent to archive your interview and your materials at the UTRGV University Library?
Yes.
Okay. Do you grant UTRGV University Library Special Collections and Archives right, title, and interest in copyright over the interview and any materials you provide?
Yes.
Okay. Do you agree to allow UTRGV University Library Special Collections and Archives to post this interview on the internet where it may be viewed by people around the world?
Yes.
Okay. Number 4. Do you grant the University Library Special Collections and Archives consent to share your Zoom interview with the Voces Oral History Center at the University of Texas at Austin for inclusions in the Voces of a Pandemic Oral History mini project, which will include posting your interview on the internet?
Yes.
Okay. As you recall, we previously filled out a pre-interview form. We use information from the pre-interview form to help in research. The entire form is kept in a secure Voces server at the University of Texas at Austin. Before Voces sends it UTRGV University Library Special Collections and Archives, we would have stripped out any contact information for yourself or family members, so that will not be part of your public file. Your public file will only be accessible at UTRGV University Library. The final 2 questions ask for your consent on what I just described. Number 5. Do you wish for us to share the rest of your interview in public file available to researchers at UTRGV University Library Special Collections and Archives?
Yes.
Number 6. On occasion, UTRGV Special Collections and Archives and Voces receive requests from journalists who wish to connect our interview subjects. We only deal with legitimate news outlets. Do you give consent for us to share your phone numbers or emails with journalists?
No.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you for your consent. Your experiences and stories mean a lot to us at UTRGV Special Collections and Archives. I look forward to what you say in the interview questions I will now ask. Okay, now we're gonna start with the interview. Okay, so Mr. Benitez, thank you for taking your time. Like I said earlier, your stories and experiences are valuable to us at UTRGV Special Collections and Archives and to our partners at Voces Oral History Center at the University of Texas at Austin, because you are a mechanic here at Brownsville, an advocate for human dignity. I know you will have a lot of meaningful stories about your experience with the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so now we're gonna start with an icebreaker, a warm-up question. So before we talk about COVID-19 stories, can you please share with us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and who you wish to be known? Who is Jose Benitez? It could be something brief, just a little bit about yourself.
Okay. 19 years old. I'm a sophomore at Texas Southmost College, and I'm a brother of 2 sisters and 2 brothers.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Okay. Um, and now this first section of questions asks you to please share your stories and memories from when the COVID-19 pandemic made its first impact in December 2019 to about the summer of 2020. So question one, what do you understand about the disease called COVID-19?
I know it affects the respiratory system, and it mostly affects people with disability like diabetes,
Mm-hmm.
asthma, and mostly old age people.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, okay. Number two, what were some early reports of or rumors about COVID-19 that you remember back in 2020?
When it first started, a lot of people were saying that masks don't work.
Mm-hmm.
We're here now, and that it first came to get rid of like population control, to get rid of older people, just for population control.
Oh, okay. And which of the rumors you were the ones that you agreed with the rumors that you've heard?
None of them, because they none of them. I didn't agree with any of them. Yeah.
Oh, okay, me neither. Okay. Um, at one point, did you realize that in this pandemic, that it was a serious life-altering event?
When we first went into quarantine, because when we went outside or just to different places, there was no cars on the roads.
Mm-hmm.
There was no people walking around like there always are.
Oh, okay. Um, is that it? Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Um,
that's it.
okay. Next question. Do you remember what was like for you during the stay-at-home orders in 2020?
Mm, It wasn't really that bad. I, I actually kind of like, because I didn't enjoy it, but
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't as bad as people make it out to be.
Oh, okay, okay. Do you have any stories for this time that you could tell?
No, not really any stories.
Oh, okay, okay. That's okay. Do you remember oh, I'm sorry. Over the last couple of years, what news media, social media, or other sources do you rely on to keep you informed about COVID-19?
Well, when I was just scrolling through the internet, I randomly clicked links,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't really check the the website. But when I did, I went like to CNN or to the CDC to keep track of the COVID.
Oh, okay. And why do you prefer these news sources, like CDC and CNN?
Because they're reliable. They've always been reliable.
Oh, okay, okay. Can you share with me on how COVID-19 affected you mentally? Did it affect you mentally in any way?
No, I wouldn't say it affected me mentally.
Oh, okay. Did it mess with your everyday life in any way?
Was during the COVID year, we I didn't really go out that much. Like I didn't leave the house that much, and where usually I would leave the house quite often.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you feel your family has the same beliefs as about have the same beliefs as you about COVID-19, or are there some members who take it more seriously or more lightly than others?
I'd say all my family takes it very serious. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe maybe a little my little sister doesn't take it that serious.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good that they all take it seriously, except for your sister, but at least that all of them mostly take it seriously.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're gonna go into the next section. This next part asks you to share any stories about COVID-19 vaccines and any vaccination related stories you may wish to tell. So, did you get a vaccine and any follow booster shots?
Yeah, I got the vaccine and all the booster shots.
Oh, okay. What was it like?
It was it wasn't difficult. It was easy. it was easy. It didn't hurt, you know.
Oh, okay. Was it easy or difficult for you in any terms of scheduling and wait time?
No, well, we went to Kingsville early in the morning, where I got the vaccine early in the morning, so there weren't a lot of people waiting.
Oh, okay, okay. Can you share a memory from the place where you were vaccinated or boosted?
No, other than there were not a lot of people waiting there, so we just went in there and we waited like a couple minutes, and that's it. Like, we didn't wait that much.
Oh, okay. Um, Now we're gonna go into another section about personal impacts. These next set of questions, Mr. Benitez, are going to ask you about how COVID-19 has impacted your life in the way your family. Um, okay, so Mr. Benitez, you shared that you live with your father, your stepmother, and your stepbrother, and you help them financially. How was your life with your family before the pandemic?
We were just a normal family, just a normal
Um,
family.
Everything normal, general. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Um, what were some activities that you and your family would do before the pandemic?
we would often go to the park, to the
Mhm.
beach, to public places that we can't do anymore.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. What were some common pressures you faced before the pandemic?
having to having to juggle work and school at the same time.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a lot of pressure. Um, how has COVID-19 changed the dynamic and stresses your family faces? Please feel free to share any relevant stories.
So it was stressful because there wasn't a lot of since work was just slow.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no, the money was also slow. So there was no money coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Um, how has COVID-19 impacted the lives of your family members?
the same way it impacted mine. Like we didn't go out as much, only to the things we needed to go out for, like groceries and for just groceries and the important things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay. You mentioned you and your father also work as mechanic and go to clients' homes and to do labor. How did the pandemic affect this job, his job?
um, not many people were using their cars anymore, so we didn't. Nobody called that much anymore.
Okay.
Yeah,
You mentioned that you help your mother out with your step siblings and financially. Did COVID-19 intensify how much you would have to help your mother when COVID-19 started spreading back in 2020?
it didn't intensify. Like it wasn't too much, but it did increase. Like the amount of money that I needed did increase.
Okay. Do you feel your family had enough personal protective equipment throughout the last 2 years, like masks, gloves, and hand sanitizer, etc.?
Yeah, at first we did because at first we did because we were prepared,
Mm-hmm.
but we didn't expect it to be 2 years of this pandemic.
It got harder.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Um, did your family do social distancing in public or at any point? And do they continue to do it now in 2022?
at first we did it. At first we did it a lot, but now we try to continue doing it because not many people do it anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so we try.
Oh, okay. Um, how was your mother and siblings doing at this present stage, like at this point of the pandemic?
We're doing was pretty good considering we haven't like gotten sick.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna go into the work-related section.
Okay.
Mr. Benitez, let's now talk about how this pandemic is affecting the work you do as an automotive technician. Um, for how long have you been an automotive technician?
For 3 years now. 3 years.
Oh, wow. Have you been one before the pandemic hit?
Yeah, yeah, but just yeah.
Oh, okay. Can you please describe a normal work day before COVID-19?
But we would just wake up and then we would start getting calls to go to people's houses to fix the cars, and that was it.
Oh, okay, okay. You don't follow a certain schedule?
No, they just call randomly.
Oh,
We
okay.
have to go.
Mm-hmm. How have you seen COVID impact your work? For example, when were those impacts first experienced, and how has COVID-19 impacted your ways of work?
The first impact were at the very beginning of the pandemic
Mm-hmm.
because people were were freaking out about it. So
Mm-hmm.
nobody left their homes. So not many people use their cars anymore.
Oh,
So it
okay.
was slow.
Yeah, it must have been hard. Um, were you concerned about not being able to work with your father?
No, no, not really, because I was able to focus more on school.
Oh, okay. Okay. Have you had to take on any extra work duties because of COVID-19?
No, it's all the same.
Oh, okay. Okay. Um, how did your father react to the changes?
Well, he wasn't happy because the work was slow and everything. So he
Mm-hmm.
had to provide for everything.
Oh, okay, okay. Do you know your father was aware of the severity of the virus?
He was aware of the severity of the virus. Yeah, he was very aware, but he had to work.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I understand. Um, do you and your father plan on adjusting to the change in any way? Like changing the way you work or
No, no, there was no change besides social distancing. But,
oh, okay.
yeah.
Has COVID-19 over the last 2 years impacted your profit or losses as a self-employed mechanic? How so?
But like I said, like it was just slow.
Mm-hmm.
It was just
Okay.
slow. So yeah,
Oh,
no money was getting.
okay. We're already going into the final questions on COVID-19 pandemic. This last section asks you to share any stories or you have about this pandemic and the response by local, state, and national elected officials. Feel free to respond or pass on any of the questions. Do you feel satisfied with the local response to COVID-19 in Brownsville, Rancho Viejo, and Cameron County over these last 2 years?
Well, there wasn't much that they could really do besides enforce the mask mandate.
Mm-hmm.
So, but other than that, there was not much they can do.
Okay. Are you satisfied with the state response to COVID-19 led by Governor Abbott over these last couple of years?
No, because no, it's not satisfied because he lifted the mask mandate twice, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was just not a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, how do you feel about the national response to COVID-19 led by President Trump in the year 2020 and then President Biden from 2021 to the present?
Um, President Trump was just really laid back.
Mm-hmm.
He was just laid back, unlike President Biden, who actually enforced the mask mandate and the vaccine. Yeah.
Okay. If you had the power of a political office to respond to COVID-19, what would you do differently?
I wouldn't have lifted the mask mandate.
I
'Cause,
agree.
yeah, but other than that, that's it.
Okay. There is a special year in our national democracy because it's a midterm election voting year. Do you plan to vote? And if so, is the issue of COVID-19 going to factor into your votes?
If I vote yes, the COVID-19 is going to be a big factor because it's a big thing going on right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Will you consider the national response to COVID-19 pandemic in your vote for presidential candidate?
Yes, also that. Yeah. Yes, I would.
Okay. Is there any sort of help or aid you could have used at the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic to make your life more manageable, less stressful, or is there any assistance you wish you had at this point in the pandemic?
I feel like the stimulus checks were helpful, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, just
What impact or purpose do you hope your story may have on listeners of the Voices of a Pandemic Digital Archives?
I guess if people have the same opinion, maybe, or they
Mhm.
can relate.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to share with me about your experiences with COVID-19 that I have not asked about?
No, I think we got everything.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jose, for sharing your stories with me. The Voices of Pandemic Oral History Project. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.